Good day, everyone. Alright, so this is a little bit of the progress that we've made since the last episode. I basically collected the rewards from idling over here. We went to level 14. I ended up getting a couple of shirts, which I'm going to be using on alternate characters because they're pretty good at the start of the game. And I am going to be working on getting the next weapon. That is partially what we were doing. We were just trying to get to where we can get the next weapon. So here's where I want to do a good tip for everyone. I was idling, I believe, here at Frogs for a little while, but I came back to Spores because I was getting more experience idling here at Spores. So what I plan on doing is I'm going to do the Coliseum quest line right here. He's going to be like, hey, why don't you beat these frogs? I'm going to go ahead and beat them. And I'm going to get some extra, I'm going to get some extra tickets. I'm going to try to beat these guys. I don't know if I can. They kind of hurt. You also have to beat them within a time limit, I think. I'm not too sure. I know at one point in the game, I think that's actually on the slime map, from what I know. But I don't think I'm doing enough damage to beat these guys, unfortunately. So I might have to spec some points into strength or something. I figured on my first character, I'm going to make it a warrior. It's a little bit better for me. So we're going to put a little bit more points onto wisdom and put like 10 points into sharpened axe. I am going to die here, actually. I think... Ooh, I was close. Okay, this is much better. Not too much of a difference, but it does make a difference. Okay, so I beat this person. I'm going to turn idle off because, yeah, auto will take you all around the map. Claim them. You can use them. And this is what I recommend doing. Alright, so if you want to get a lot of early game items without having to do much, you come here, defeat one enemy. Traditionally, you would think, defeat as many enemies as you want, but you can end the run and you get the same amount of items. If you were to idle for the full 5 minutes, you would get the same amount of items. It's a pretty good tip. It's just to do what you gotta do. Now, I'm actually gonna equip that because, it's just slightly better than what I have now. But look at all this iron. I did one run and got that much iron. It's really good as a starter. Once you get past a certain point, it's not really worth it. But as a starter, you can get anything from wood to, And all you gotta do is just end the run. And then continue. Pretty simple. Now, sometimes you won't get anything super useful, but it's still, it's worth it. Just to try it out. Now, let me actually go ahead and close the menu. There. On your first couple days, if you can defeat these guys, I definitely recommend doing this. It's very simple, and you can get tons of resources that's going to help you out. And it's overall really worth it. See, look at this. Beginner recipe. Some food. I can get the copper band. It all depends on how lucky you are, but you can get quite a few things that are pretty good from here. And you can do it as many, I think it's like 5 times a day or more. Especially if you do the daily quest for the guy. You can get 40 oak logs. I did a couple runs and just look what I've gotten. a lot of good stuff. Now, I'm going to do only one more run because I think if I get any wood, I wouldn't be able to carry it all. You might have to do a lot of back and forth at the start of the game in order to be able to do all of your turns, which is okay. Yeah, see. Alright, so this is when I throw out these two items. They're far less useful to me right now. I need the wood. As I said, inventory management, you really need. Yeah, you can't have two things of food, unfortunately. So I'm probably going to actually throw that food down just so I can pick up that. And then I'm going to run back to town, put everything in storage. Since it's not too long of a run, it's only 2 maps. So far, for 1 day progress, I've made quite a bit of things go by pretty quickly. Like, you know, wood's pretty hard to come by at the start of the game until you get level 7 and make your sub-character. If you decide to make a mage first, which I can't really recommend it or not recommend it. That one's up to player, right? It's a player's choice of what they decide is the best course of action. Now, actually, I'm going to do deposit all. I don't really recommend it. We're going to sell this item. Oh, yeah. Keep your statues and always come here daily and buy more statues. You can find them right here. If you got the money for it, buy them. Because later on, they're going to be far more helpful to you once you get the chisel for the marble quests. But always remember, grab them. They are far useful. And any statues that you get, if you can, put them in your storage for later. Alright, so this is where I'm going to sell this just for a little bit more money. A little bit more money is still helpful. Later on, I will be earning so much money it won't really make a difference. But you really want to try to get as much money as you can in the early game, because it can help you out. It can help you out a lot. Alright, so I'm going to go back up here and do the rest of the Coliseum runs. Then I'm going to run back to town and deposit them. You know, when I first started playing, I didn't know this. I actually went to the Discord channel and I started reading what people said, and they were like, oh yeah, one of the best ways to progress is doing that. Also, save your upgrade stones. They are very helpful if you just keep them. I mean, at the start, you don't have to save them, but I do recommend saving them because later on they can be very useful. But it's not a requirement. It's easier later in the game because you could just buy them from the store, and you'll be so overflowed with money it doesn't make any difference. So it's up to your choice on that one, but look at that. 60 copper for doing 2 runs. That is not bad at all. Alright, so you really want to do quests, but a lot of the quests in this game take a long time to accomplish, so it's best if you do them AFK usually. It's really quest dependent, but yeah. Now, I typically put all of the early game foods in my storage as well because you want to have early game food. They help you progress much smoother. Though it's not 100% a requirement, it's just helpful. Alright, so now, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to look for the requirements. I need 25 spore caps and 10 copper bars. If you remember, one of the runs I did, I got 20 copper bars. Yeah, 20. So, I don't even have to make more. I can just go split stack, put 10 in here. I pushed the wrong button. 10 and then split it. And then 20. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, I can only carry 10 at a time. I forgot. So we'll actually grab 30. Then we will make our first big increase with the weapons, right? Weapons usually take a while to upgrade. Like, to get to the next weapon, it'll be a little while for me. But that's okay. We're gonna sell our boxing gloves. It's hard to say that I would recommend it because later on they could be useful when you're doing like grass and scary. Doing these, one of the quests I believe require you to have boxing gloves, and you can defeat our what is this name? It's one of the bosses of World 1. But usually when you get to that point, you're gonna have to have your character really leveled up. So I'm actually gonna spend my first upgrade point that I unlocked right here on this. I'm gonna want these weapons for my next upgrade, because that's gonna be literally the next weapon that I craft. Now I'm going to come here, grab these items out, which, yes, I know there's a quick deposit, which is okay. Now I'm gonna immediately start crafting trusty nails. It's okay to do either or, but I would like to start off with trusty nails because I need 1,000 of them later on. And you're gonna want to have just a lot of them. Specifically only for one quest, which if you're not really worried about completing quests efficiently or anything, you don't need to. I just want to have 1,000 to set to the side so I can be a completionist, do all the quests I can. Alright. See, that's why you would want to have the spear. It just hit four of these frogs at the same time. Really good. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and just sit here and defeat the monsters I need until I can get to the next area. When I get to the next area, I should unlock the ability to choose what class I want. And I'm going to go warrior. But until then, we'll just do this because I know I'll get a free reset point. The damage is about the same, but there's a chance that I will do more damage, close to 30. On top of that, it's also really good because it can AoE hit the enemy. So it's pretty efficient when it comes to at the start of the game. Though you really won't see too many AoE hits unless if they're grouped up like they are down here. See? The best thing to do is use this during slimes though, because for sure slimes on the right side group up a lot. But you won't have to worry about that for a little while. So let's go and check out our progress. We will still have to eliminate a few of these guys. Alright, let's see. 81. So let's look at our AFK info. If we come back within an hour, we'll have them all defeated. But I would rather actively farm these guys because they're far more helpful. I'm going to talk to him to complete my quest in order to unlock stamps. Find an axe to trade for the stamp. I believe that's when you have to make a stamp. Yeah, collect a copper chopper, which should be pretty simple. I'm not sure if my stat points are currently the most efficient, but I'm just doing whatever to make me hit more damage until I can get to the class reset. Then I'm going to actually go into the build that I did when I originally started playing, which I recommend that everyone just kind of play the way you want to play. You don't have to play a specific way. I just typically like to do more damage, so I go with less health. Because once you get past a certain defense threshold, enemies can't do damage to you, right? Like right now, these enemies do no damage to me because I'm past that defense threshold. So having health is helpful, but it's also not mandatory, as long as you keep your defense up. And if you're wondering, yes, you can get higher defense from stamps, equipment. Like this one gives 3 defense. And I believe you can also activate certain talents to get defense. Oh, and I'm not too sure, but I think cards can do it when you unlock them. So basically, we're just going to be actually manually fighting these frogs in order to, level up a little bit quicker. Now, I could have used my candy, but I don't want to do that. As I said, I'd rather use it for later in the game. But you can use it early in the game if you want to. It's up to you, because you can get them fairly often. Oh, see, we're already halfway there. This is probably the most boring part of the game, is to progress to the next area. But once you get yourself set up, it's not that bad. I'm just grateful I can almost, kill all these guys in 2 shots. Because if I couldn't, this would be a lot more grueling, actually. It also depends on if they want to be nice and group up together. Unfortunately, there's no guarantee for it, but honestly, any form of AoE in the early game is far better than none. So, I've been looking at a lot of people ask a question in Discord and a couple other things. Which is the best class to start with? That one is strongly dependent on your playstyle and what you enjoy. Alright? So, some people, they're like, oh, well, I like playing Archer. You could play an archer. There's no problem with it. You like playing wizard? That's okay. Play with a wizard. They do a lot of damage. Or a mage, right? Or if you want to be a warrior, you can. I'm not going to say one particular class is the master race, but I will say warrior definitely has its advantages at the start, right? But all classes have their advantages in at least one thing. And eventually you want to work toward having all three. That's just how it is. Like, my next character is actually going to be most likely, I want to say, maybe an archer or a wizard. Because I already got one warrior, which is true. This could be my main pusher, which I'm most likely going to use him for. But I typically like to have one warrior for one thing. And on my main account, I actually have another warrior for mining, strictly. But I tend to do a lot more progress on one particular character than another. So I might go one character do this, one character do this, one character do that. Like, I'm going to have a mage, it's going to be strictly cutting trees, right? But I'm also going to have it to where I can do other things as well. You have to kind of balance. Like, from what I've noticed, archers are really good with drop rate. They're good with smithing in particular. They're very good at smithing. Like, on my main account, I made an archer really late into the account, and then they're doing a lot more production than any other class. But that's also because of how I have him built with his 4 skills down here. So basically, now after we get done waiting, we're going to be going to beans. And as I said, I'm going to make a warrior class. Why am I going to choose warrior as my first character? Well, to me, they're probably one of the strongest classes at the start. I'm not going to say it is the strongest, because I can't 100% say for a fact. But I will say, to me, I like the ability to do AoE. And when you unlock the Squire class, you're going to do a lot more AoE. Or you can choose Barbarian and just do a lot of damage. Probably some of the highest single target damage in the game. But, you know, everything that's good also has a drawback. It was such a big increase when I turned on my main account my warrior into a squire. My AFK gains went from being around 50,000 to 70 to 80,000 experience an hour. And I just kind of like was shocked. I was like, that's a lot of experience gain. So basically, this is just kind of what we're doing. Now, I can actually go to the next area, which I should have been doing. I just didn't notice. Alright. So basically, I'm taking a lot of damage now. So I'm going to run down to this platform as quick as possible. I'm going to talk to this person. Turn off auto, by the way. I'm going to talk to this person since you're safe on this platform. And you can read his storyline if you want. But he basically is just telling you, there's 3 classes to choose from. Now, I'm going to choose warrior. You can choose anything you want. You're not limited. I'm going to choose this class. And he does give you reset potions. He also gives you these if you're playing on PC. Gems. Now I'm going to activate all these, and I'm going to use a reset potion right here. The build that I'm going to be going for is 40 points into a Book of the Wise. It's typically because by level 32, you want to have at least 40 wisdom. Or just upgrade your wisdom to what is healthy for you, right? 20 wisdom is more than enough at the start of the game. You want to have 40 by the time you reach later in World 1, because basically, accuracy is king. It's kind of unmatched. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go 30 points for right now. You know what? Actually, I'm going to go 40. My damage would be a little bit lower, but that's okay. I don't mind taking that trade-off. Then I'm going to level Sharpened Axe and Meat Shank equally for more damage. Or as equally as I can. I'm 1 point off, but that's okay. Alright, so on your back part, it's dependent on you, but typically the way I like to do it is I'll get 1 stat point into Whirl and Power Strike. Then I will spend anywhere from 10 to 20 points into Double Strike. And it's up to you if you want to get Firmly Grasp It. It's actually really good skill later on. Because, strength boost. Increases your health, your overall damage. It's pretty good. I'm going to actually invest in a Double Strike, though. I'm going to put 20 points into this. Now, when I get one more level, I'm going to put a point into Double Strike. And then after that, I'm just going to invest in the Carry Big Stick. And now we just idle. But first, we're going to look at our experience gain per hour. I'm only getting 605, so I'm going to check out the next area. Besides, these guys still do a lot of damage to me. So I personally do not want to be here. I'm not getting as much experience per hour, but I'm not able to die. So sometimes you have to outweigh your odds. You may not get as much experience, but that's okay. Now, first, real quick, I'm going to check out the gem shop. See how many gems we got. Okay, we only got 28, which that's okay. Now, I'm actually going to go and see if we can create some pants. We should be able to, because I think I've been idling and getting the resources for it. And then we'll start our second character here soon. Alright, so what I like to do is I'll do this. I'll have my items lined up in a row. And as I increase in my inventory space, I will do things slightly different. I'm just trying to see. Okay, so we need to build up. We can actually buy that. We're gonna wait actually to buy this. First, I'm going to purchase, if anything, one of these sculpting tools. You don't have to purchase it this early in the game, but I want to go ahead and get the statue unlocked. Let's see, do I got any statues in here? Yes, I do. We're going to go ahead and get this done. Alright, see, my damage went up 9 points just for doing that. Always save your stuff. Alright, so now we unlocked these. These are very helpful as well. Alright, now I increased my damage by an extra 5 points. And you can start to see how helpful these are. And I can increase my inventory space. So overall, we're making pretty good progress. Alright. I got another 10 gems. Sweet. I didn't even realize they were there. Alright, let's go ahead and use them. Alright, so one of the things you're gonna want to work toward is you can possibly join a guild. I don't exactly know the 100% the benefits of joining a guild. I know there's quite a bit of them. Alright, so now that we did... Oh, you know what? I just realized. I meant to make me a pair of pants. Sorry. Let's go to production. Okay, it's still producing our nails. That's okay. Alright, so 28 and 15. Yep. Alright. Oh, we're one off on the legs, aren't we? Yep. Somehow I knew that was gonna happen. Okay, we'll just grab the 15. That we need. And we'll be back. I'm probably going to use a second potion just because, you know, sometimes I don't like doing the run, but then again, I don't really mind it either. It's in late game that I just don't do the run at all. See, that's what a double hit can do. I almost destroyed him. Oops. In one hit, see? It's pretty helpful to hit the double hit. If I'm really lucky, I can get the give up on life pants. I think you can get them from these guys. But I won't count on it because it's not the most common thing to get from these guys. That would be much better than the pants that I would be making soon, but... I'm just waiting on getting one more frog leg. After we make the pants, we're going to call this episode over. Sweet. I don't recommend doing that. It's up to you if you want to do that, but it's not really required to get back quicker. I just want to do this so I can close out the episode pretty fast. Alright, there we are. 4 defense, 2 agility, 1 wisdom. Now, let's look and see what it'd be like if I wanted to get this. Flip-flops will be my next go-to thing. Or we may just save for a little while and get copper boots. But that would be coming up in a couple episodes. And with all that being said, I think I'm going to call this video over. I'm going to go idle at frogs for a little bit, and then I'll be back with a brand new video by tomorrow.